I guess if y'all want, we could go to the intro. Y'all remember what we was just saying? Or y'all want to go straight to the intro real quick?
We can go to the intro. What's good? What's good?
Let
What's
me
up,
slide back
everybody?
into
It's your
my
bros
spot.
next door. We here. We back. It's been a minute since we had all three bros in the room. It's your boy LB.
We ain't in the same room, but you know, in spirit, we on the same call. Home edition, part 2.
Got it.
Facts.
Now, what was we just talking about? Because Lamar said he wanted to pause it because it was going to be juicy. So he said
We were
want to
talking
go ahead.
about credit, and we were talking about, I was getting into really like when I think about our like different levels of economic strength of a person. Like David said, he believes that person with benefits that's relying solely off of like Social Security or whatever, they're at the bottom level.
Because I guess the initial conversation started with, we brought up social credit, and social credit started the initial conversation. Then we got to talking about how important credit is in the Western culture, Western society, into our financial systems and our lifestyles and stuff like that. And then we started to break down how much credit was really needed. And one of us suggested that credit is definitely needed. It's reliable, but you can't have money that comes and supersedes credit. So credit is needed for most people, but it can be superseded. And then we started to break down who uses credit or might not need credit the most. But what were you saying, Malik? That's what we were kind of getting into.
I was basically saying at the bottom level is for sure is people with benefits. I agree with you on that. Then I think the next is if you're working for a job, and it's not like don't work a job. It's just you are the people who do majority of the work in America. Everyone's relying on you in order to pay our taxes, like the middle class pays for all the taxes.
And that's what used to be considered blue collar, right? And that's what used to be considered blue collar, right?
Yeah.
So blue collar as in
white collar somewhat, a little bit.
Blue collar as in the jumpsuit that the mechanics wear, steel mill workers, construction workers, heavy stuff like that.
Is like, and on that level, that's primarily people who can't afford to buy a house, essentially. So like all of us that are like under 45 that make less, like it's right out of the range to be able to afford to buy a home in a popular city. Might be able to get a home in Tennessee. Yeah, could be able to get a home in Tennessee, but not like
Atlanta.
Yeah, can't get it there. But then, like, the next level is making sure that you have credit. Like, good credit will allow you to go and purchase a car without putting down a down payment, or being able to show up places and like have minimum stuff because they say, well, you got an 800 credit score. We believe that you're going to be able to pay this, and you can make almost no money.
But I might push back on the whole. I might push back on saying no down payment, because so my credit score is like basically 740, and the credit score that they pretend like you almost got to have, because I feel like my credit score is better than a lot of. I think I looked up and I'm in the top 65, 70. It's some number that I'm better than a lot nice amount of people when it comes to credit. Yeah. But it don't really afford me that many benefits. It don't never get me into the place where I don't have to put any down payment. It just minimizes my down payment. You say you don't have to?
I can say I do not have a credit score that high. But when I went to buy my first car, which was 2020. When I bought my first car in 2020, I put $0 down on the car. I didn't put anything down on the car. And was able to walk out of there. It wasn't a brand new car. I went and bought a nice vehicle.
What was your interest rate on it?
Oh, I want to say it's like 11, might be like 11 some percent.
What?
I gotta look at it. I don't
what
know.
You saying what
like
that for, Malik?
Like between that 11 to 15% range. I want to say
where'd you buy the car?
South Carolina.
That's why.
Exactly.
Nobody's buying cars in South Carolina right now. Everybody's like, yo, we stuck.
First of all,
yeah, we stuck in the house. It's COVID. What do we do? And you're like, I'm going to go buy a car because I'm still working every day.
But
meanwhile,
so I want to say
I bought a car every year from 2018 up until 2022.
Ballin'.
Every year I bought a new car.
You got money, Malik.
I wish
money.
You buying a car every year for 3-4 years straight? God damn.
When no, because I wish. I think my credit score at the time was a 640, right? And I think 2018, 2019, my credit was a 640. It was too low to get like a car that was like valued of $12,000 or over.
And that's crazy because that's not even really low. That's not lower than some, but that's not even really low. I've seen my credit score at one point, and my shit was in the 400s. 400s.
My interest rate, my interest rate for my car was, my interest rate was like 26%, and I put $1,500 down on my car.
26% is high as fuck for a car.
26%.
That is definitely high. That is
crazy.
That's 11%. That's like a credit card high.
11%. Yeah, that's definitely credit card high. That's definitely credit card high.
I was sitting there like, yo, what's going on? Like, why are they charging me so much? So then that car got totaled. Shout out to the drunk driver who hit my car in front of my house while I was in the living room chilling.
Goddamn Atlanta. One of them got me too.
Both cars were gone.
One of them got me too.
One was flipped over. The other was totaled. Like completely just smashed in the back end. So then I had
to move out of Georgia. Y'all got to move out of Georgia, bro.
Yeah. Same situation like how David had his. Mine, I was able to like flip it over and pull it into the driveway, then had the tow truck come. Then after that, I bought another car, and that I think I got I put $1,500 down, and I think I got it for like 16% or 11%. I can't remember. I know it was lower, but I was still like, yo, I still make the same amount of money. Nothing has changed. I still had to put a down payment down. But you got some people who have a higher credit score who can walk in and say, we're not going to put anything down. But with their income, like your income has to be higher to be able to come in and make nothing and put nothing down. But then you got some people who have a lot of income but a terrible credit score because they don't have any credit.
So look,
and they've always been able to just walk in and buy whatever they want.
I take back my earlier statement. So I guess I have had the option to put $0 down, but I guess in my head that's never an option. I wouldn't recommend anybody to put $0 down. I mean, if it's in your financial plans, do your thing, but I wouldn't recommend to nobody in my family put $0 down. So I have had the option, but usually $0 down comes with higher something. It comes with a higher interest rate, or it comes with a higher payment of some kind. So just naturally, I guess I could put $0 down, but I would recommend. So, me and my wife is supposed to be getting a car this year sometime. And I want to say that's one of my goals this year is honestly, I'm stacking my money and I'm going to put $20,000 down on my car type thing. So I would never recommend $0 down.
20,000.
20,000 is crazy. 20,000 is. I'm putting 20,000 out
down on the car.
Well, because I don't own this. So y'all kind of know my car history, as in. So I've always bought cars, bought them straight up. My cars have always cost less than $8,000 because I've never tried to pay a note or anything. But this time we actually said, okay, we want a newer car, and then usually going that route is going to be some older. So just like in life, you have to prioritize what you want to do and what you can deal with. And I guess now we want a newer car that we can put on the road. We can take it 2,000 miles and bring it back and not worry about it to any degree, as long as we're keeping up with our daily, weekly, monthly maintenance. that we should be good. So I said, well, putting $20,000 down, we can get a 2021, 2022 new vehicle, and it won't have a high monthly payment, and then we won't be paying on it for 4, 5, 6 years. Honestly, I'm trying to have it paid off in like a year. So $20,000 down is about half the amount of the proposed car. So if the car costs about $40,000, put $20,000 down. That makes it so that the loan we get on the car is a lot smaller. It should have a lot smaller interest rate, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I could, of course, put a smaller amount down and go do something else with my money. But I guess that's part of our financial planning that we're doing right now. We trying to make financially sound decisions, as in we mostly done paid off all of our debt. We about to buy this car and have it paid off, and we're not trying to add it to our debt, but we basically paying off our debt so we can swap it out with current debt and then pay it off too, so we can clear all debt, so we can start getting into our investments. Because I guess I've looked into it and I've decided that you almost got to at least have a $10,000 start in place for investment in order to get some serious return on it. Because after all the shit I've been looking into, even if you put $10,000 down,
actually no, I'm gonna say this, and it's because I invest in like crypto, and I invest in options. I do options trading, and so you don't now $10,000 is great. I think it's phenomenal, and I think which you will see a greater return on your money, a lot faster. But you can legitimately take $10, $50 into an options account. And no, listen, I'm telling you, you can take $10 or $50 into an options account, and with dedicated, like, this is day trading. Like, if you're going to day trade, you can.
So day trading is separate from just investment. Day trading is definitely gonna be.
Day trading is investing investing is your job, essentially. Like, if you're going to day trade, investing is your job, and you understand it, and you can take $10 or $50 and flip that. I've done it, right? Like, I've flipped 50 to 300. And so it just depends on what type of investing you're going to do. But if you're going to do more of the swing trading, if you're going to do more of the long-term investments where, like, hey, I'm going to put this money here, I'm going to let it sit for a year, or I'm going to let it sit for a couple of months, I'm going to let it sit for longer. Yeah, I think 10,000 is a great number, because you're trying to get what I think is super smart in investing is like getting stocks that pay dividends. Right. So you're trying to get stocks that are going to pay you just for being a stock owner. And then on top of that, you want to sit and understand, when is it going to peak? When does it bottom out? What is the pattern? I'm going to buy it when it bottoms out. I'm going to sell it when it peaks. So you might be holding for 6 months to a year at a time just to make sure you get the greatest return. So yeah, I think when it comes to investing, it's really the strategy you want to use that fits your lifestyle. Because I'm into the day trading piece. Like, that's where I'm at. Like, I think I don't have the ability right now to have $10,000, $20,000 to put into an account to wait the long term, but I can slowly build that up.
Borrow 10 from David. He got it from his 20,000.
I'm a business over here. I'm talking about projected money. I got money, but I'm talking about projected money. I'm talking about pre-counted money. So do I actually have it with me? No. Do I plan to have it? Yeah, I could pay you over time on these dates, totaling in this amount. That's fucking American business for you. That's all banks do. Like, banks are fucking broke. They use Malik's money to pay Lamar, and then Lamar is late on Malik's money. They get extra money out of Lamar to pay Malik. Like, no, not to pay Malik. They're going to pay themselves. But that's money.
When Malik... Go ahead.
I would go with being a little bit more conservative when it comes to trading or investments or anything like that. I do believe long-term investments are crucial. Like, you got to do that, but you also got to do stuff that is like, I need to be making this money short-term, flipping stuff. But you also got to have money off ROIs and stuff like that you're getting money over time. You just put it in there for the long term, but you got to have stuff for the short term. But you also got to invest.
You got to have a diverse portfolio. You got to have a diverse portfolio.
That gets to the next point is investment. Is that we were talking about credit. I think investing is over credit because you can only get taxed so much off of your investments. That's why all of these guys are billionaires, because they invested in these companies when they were like penny stocks, and then essentially you could put $1 into a penny stock, and if it becomes worth up, let's say freaking $20, you own a significant amount of that company. Like, and this is just off of a low amount in the company.
Well, with that, let me also add that it's when you doing stuff like that, it's also with smart investment. So hitting off of what Malik is saying and also what Lamar said of talking about dividends, of when you're trying to invest, it's not you investing and pulling out money and going to spend it. It's basically you putting that money up, you investing it, you're getting dividends from it, and you're reinvesting the dividends to, make your portion larger. And you have to you have to play that game for a significant amount of time to grow to earn, and then to add into your portion, to grow your portion to earn even more. So, but go ahead, continue, Malik.
But just in general, I was just saying, like, you just got to keep investing into whatever it is that you're doing, but you got to invest in yourself, and you got to make sure that you're doing stuff that's not like, at least for myself, where I'm at right now with investing. I'm investing into my business. So I'm putting money up, buying equipment, starting a business, and trying to make sure I got the best contractors with me on whatever project it is, investing into films and making whatever profit I can make off of this film. And then I'm going to get more investors to come and say, hey, man, we want to invest in your next film. Well, this is what our split was last time. So from Lake Lanier, I've learned a lot. Like, I didn't take any pay. I took 3% for Lanier for the whole total budget. And I was like, yeah, if this movie making any money, I'll at least get 3% of whatever it makes. And then, like, thinking about that at first, I was like, we don't make any. Most films don't make any money from their first check, from their first film. Now, I for sure know I'm making money because we're well in profit now. We didn't think we would be in it within our first 6 months. But it's definitely changed my mindset of like, oh man, I got to get paid up front because I'm thinking about the now, but also I'm thinking about the future. And then for my investments that I put in, I can only get taxed a maximum of 20%. They can't tax me more than that. So I get taxed 20% of whatever I made. That's way less than the person who gets taxed freaking 35%, 33%. Yeah. And if you make over a certain amount, you can even tax more if you live in like California, which
I think it's a mass exodus happening to California and New York. Yeah. I think people are leaving those places in droves.
But I think what's going to happen, just because people are leaving, it's going to take a while, right? But because so many people are going to leave those areas, and I think these states in the middle, like the Midwest states, the states where not a lot of people are and have a lot of land that is still open for purchase, they're going to fill up over time. And so the New Yorks and the Californians, their taxes are going to come down, and they're going to start doing incentives to bring people back because they're going to lose so many people. That's what I believe. It's not going to happen in 10 or 20 years. It may be a 30, 40, 50-year process.
I guess I'm just shaking my head and being like, nah, because I guess that's one of the things that come across my desk from my independent media sources and stuff. Okay, so Malik, did you know that over the past 2 years here in Atlanta alone, we got over, I want to say it was 62,000 people just here in Atlanta alone. Yeah. So when it comes to New York and California specifically, they're making a lot of like political changes, and tax laws is not good for business. I know y'all seen the thing that's happening with Tyson Chicken right now, right? So Tyson Chicken laid off I think over 100,000 people, right? And they're trying to basically clear space for the illegal immigrants that's coming in through the border. Because we've had over 300,000 illegal immigrants in the past 3 years. So one thing that's happening in California, and it's more so happening to California, but it's also happening in New York, is that they're really pushing for rights, which is crazy to me. But they're really pushing for rights for illegal immigrants. I'm talking about home rights, the right to have firearms, and then, just regular working rights. And that's why Tyson Chicken is up under fire right now. Like, type in Tyson Chicken in Google, and it'll pull it right up. But Tyson Chicken basically laid off 100,000 people, and they planned on hiring immigrants, illegal immigrants, because people keep trying to co-inflate the two. I don't think anyone has a problem with migrants. It's the illegal migrants that seems to be a problem because of just the mass amount of numbers in the simulation. But so swinging it back around to New York and California, I think places are mass exiting because of the legislation and stuff like that. Like they're trying to tax homeowners because, like I said, so these places are in a financial deficit right now because of this policy or because of these things, because you just have a lot more people applying for not Social Security, but applying for benefits, and not really applying for benefits, but they're getting fed, they're getting housed, they're getting stuff is getting done. That money is coming from somewhere. So we seen Cardi B talk about it. We seen several other people talk about it. It's being pulled from the budget, the current standing budget, and so that's why I say people are mass exodus, mass leaving it, and I don't know. Yeah, it'll fill up over time, but I think if the policies keep going the way they're going, it's going to fill up with illegal immigrants, which essentially are just more poor people, which is filling up with more like it's going back to the factory job type thing. But between robots working it and them getting extremely low labor, because American people, we was just complaining about the wages being too low, prices being too high, prices need to come down or we need to get paid more. And they just magically kind of found a way around it a little bit. So that's what I said, at least in the places in New York and California. I don't know if it's going to be a mass recovery unless something in our current trajectory changes. It changes.
Yeah, I mean, but like for all, I think like history shows, and I don't have any specifics I can cite, but like when there's a mass exodus, think about when there was a mass exodus from the South. Right. When there was the great migration of Black people that left from the South and went to places like Detroit, went to New York, went to like the northern states. Think about what happened here in the South. The economy was rocked extremely hard. It was hit extremely hard. A lot of labor was lost, a lot of people. And so what happened to incentivize bringing these people back? The best cost of living right now is in the South. The best cost of living was in the South. And let's understand the Great Migration did not take place, but I think maybe 100 years ago. It's about 100 years ago, maybe a little less. I want to say it was really like between 1920s and 1930s, but I could be wrong on those exact dates. But this great migration happens less than 100 years ago. And now the best cost of living, the most bang for your buck is in the southern states. Why? Because economically they were hit the hardest when they lost such a large population. Now, again, I'm not saying it's going to happen in like a 10 to 20 year time span. It may not be until, our grandkids that these states have to make changes to bring people back to them. But if things continue the trajectory like you're saying, the states are going to have to make changes, because if you're paying someone less than minimum wage, guess what you're also not getting from them? Good tax dollars. You're not getting good tax dollars from a person that you're paying less than minimum wage. So you're going to need to incentivize people who are making, the working class. You're going to have to incentivize them to come back. You're going to have to incentivize people that are making, and I think by the time our grandkids come around, it's going to be $150,000, $200,000. Like that's going to be middle class. Like that's going to be what the middle class is. That's going to be your working class is making that type of money. You're going to try to incentivize them to come back because now you can get more tax dollars. Now you can get more into the system, but you're going to also incentivize them by saying, hey, your houses are going to cost less now. We're going to charge you, some of the crazy, outrageous taxes that I've heard about from California residents. Some of those are probably going to be cut, and it's not now, but they have to really feel it. Right now, they feel the illegal immigration thing. I think is a short fix. It's a quick fix. You can't just put a Band-Aid over it. If
it's not even really a fix. I feel like it's a temporary choice. I don't know. I think that's why our opinions start to diverge. I think it's like the old steel mill industries. Like you have towns, you have places that used to thrive because of the industry back then. never got back to it. It just doesn't thrive anymore. And I feel like we're going somewhere like that. Like, I feel like you have more optimism for the swing back. I feel like it's not going to be as much of a swing back. I feel like it's only going to continue to dissipate. I feel like the way the current system is we're only going for collapse. We can only sustain what we're doing, how we're doing it, the whole way of life that we have for an extended period of time. And I get stuff that say sometimes as early as 2030.
That's why you got to get out and go vote.
Huh?
That's why you got to get people to change.
I think the system is so. I think the system is so corrupt. Voting can't even fix it anymore because it's majority.
In order to make change, though, right? Like I said, in order to make change, you do have to change the system. Like you have to.
But the stereotypical way in which the system is changed in revolutionary ways has not been voting. I mean, voting has also been laced in there. Voting has been, but it's usually not voting.
Voting has been a part of it, but also showing up and doing things like having politicians that are not going to just be like, all right, we're just trying to make money, and like.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the difference between now and past. Now we're at a level of being so corrupt, the checks and balances aren't working anymore, where we could vote for somebody, but then they still have their appointed positions. Like Trump did it with, what was it, the Supreme Court justice? I mean, several people do it, but we just have too many appointed positions that's not elected positions. So once Trump puts in a appointed position, or Biden or whoever puts in an appointed position, it doesn't matter who we elect, because if they have the final say on the decision, then what we even care about, what we're electing to go for, doesn't matter. And it's being seen with some of these spending bills.
I didn't say it's just voting, but you got to get the right people to run.
Like, that's what I'm saying. I told you, I'm not saying you're saying it's just voting.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not just voting. Like, you got to change foundational things. So, like, if you want to make change in the actual system, I know for myself, like, I'm going to get into politics probably in the next 20 years, but I know I have to do my own thing within my own industry, do well, and then when I get into that, I really want to make a lot of change, because there's a lot of good that I could do, I know, that could help society, but I have to learn how to do what I'm doing now. And like, this is what I have to be dead set on this before I can worry about doing two things at once and do both of them bad. I need to do one thing at a time and be great at that. But I also think it's just in general, like, you know, how societies grow and fall. It's all a cycle, and you can rebuild the society, you can bring it back.
I guess we got 10 minutes, fellas. Wrap that shit up. Wrap it up.
Wrap it up. But I mean, I don't feel like as if things can't go back, or can't be better for the next generation. I think it just takes work. I think it's different than what it's gonna be from the 1960s. It might even be more related to like how it was for people in the 1700s. There might have to be wars that happen in order for us to actually get certain rights that we want, or to stop certain things from happening, to where one part of the government can be so strong where congressmen are essentially like, I could just veto anything you want. If I got the House on my side, you have nothing. And like our two-party system, like we talked about before, if I got that, like if we're on two of the same, it's the same coin, even though we're on two different sides of it. Mm-hmm. We're all just like, well, I want this or I want that. Well, shit, I didn't get this time, but I'm gonna get the next time. But we really want change, so we gotta switch the whole thing. We're more like a Rubik's Cube than a coin. Like it's a million different ways that this could be organized versus just one or the other. And I think that's how I would envision America, because it shouldn't be just Republicans or Democrats, but that's what I think the independent party should do more, but it's literally just you. And as people, we got to do more together, like creating our own community to actually like do things to come together and actually work on issues that we have, instead of like, LB, you got a problem? Yeah, you saw this shit. I'm helping this dude with the studio. I just shot today studio was great, but it had a lot of things that can improve. I was going to talk to this dude about like his switcher. I was like, yo, man, like, you didn't set any of this stuff up that we paid for. But you know what? Instead of like just giving him a hard time, I'm going to set it up for him. I ain't even going to charge him. I'm just going to come there and show him how this can be done in a better way. Because I want his life to be good. Because if he does good business, he'll hire me and I'll have a new client that I'm just making money off of. That would not have been there had I not put this system in place. But Bob was just like, fuck it, he'll learn. His business fails, and that means I don't make money off it. But if his business is good, I can make money off of it.
Yeah. You definitely have to pick and choose the mentality, but overall you have to try to have a more omniscient. I'm trying to think of the best way to put it because I don't want nobody to use it against me when they feel like using it against me. But I try to be as forgiving and as passive and as, stuff like that as possible. But it's definitely moments that, working with, I almost said their name, but let's call them Paid Man. Let's call them Paid Man, Malik. When I'm working with Paid Man, you get it? Yeah. So when I'm working with Paid Man, sometimes the shit that they ask you to do definitely be trying to milk every last cent out of you type stuff. Like, and I don't be down for it. And it is like, yeah, it's no offense. It's nothing to anybody personally, but y'all are really milking my labor right now. Y'all are milking the shit out of my labor. Like, I signed on to have this job title, and now y'all are wanting me to go over here and help somebody else with this job title. I don't want to be that guy, but I don't see everybody doing that. You've been sitting over there with your arms folded for a nice amount of time watching TV. So you started to play them games. I was working
with this dude the other day. People were like, he got kicked off the job, and they were like, man, what the fuck happened to him? And they was like, oh, he was just sitting around doing nothing. I was like, so who snitched on him to like get him off the job? That's what I really want to know, because I don't want to be around that person. Because if I see somebody chilling, I'm going to chill. I'm not going to bust my ass.
I'm not about to be the only person working, bro.
If we're all working hard, I'm going to bust my ass. But I'm also like, I'm going to come in with that effort, but if I see everyone's like not doing their job, you're not going to get me to be building the railroad by myself, right, John?
I ain't gonna lie. See, sometimes I swing. Sometimes I'm just in the mindset of I'm coming in, knocking this out, trying to get it done. So sometimes I put in the extra effort and I go ahead and do what I normally would say I wouldn't do because I'm naturally a hard worker. I would rather get it done than the bullshit all day. On 9 times out of 10 jobs, I would rather go in there and knock it out, work hard, get it done, be allowed to leave if so, but otherwise. But yeah,
I mean, I think leaders lead no matter who's in the room. Like I'm going to if I'm not in a leadership position, I'm not going to bust my tail to try to inspire everybody to just work hard so we can get this job done. I'm going to do if everyone's going to decide that they're going to be chill, I'm gonna chill. But if I got half the crew is doing a hard job and the other half is just chilling, I'm going to keep working. I'm not going to be a part of the team that's doing nothing. But when I'm by myself, I'm going to be there busting my tail because someone else's performance doesn't dedicate how my life should be. So, like, specifically with AV or other things, I'm going to be, in order for me to get to my goal, I can't be worried about other people's mission. I got to be focused on mine. But there's also times when people try to take advantage of you. That whole mentality of 1950s, like, just keep working and we'll pay you 10 cents a day.
Yeah, but
okay.
I feel like when you're a leader, sometimes you just fall into it. It's something you can't get around. Sometimes, like, it happened to me on this last job. Like, you have people who's actually designated as leaders with this last job, but they leadership sucked so bad that, okay, so we was building meeting rooms, right? And you had the audio lead and you had the video lead. And they were supposed to, basically set the precedence of the room, let us know which way they wanted it done, because you could do the same thing several times. So let us know which way they want it done, and we can carry it over to all other 10 rooms. That didn't happen. These guys, I don't know, disappeared. So we had a room, then we was overstaffed. So then we had a room full of people who we all pretty much know what we doing. So you got dudes, it's like, how many electricians do it take to screw in the light bulb? One. You're going to have one screw it in, and the other 10 are going to talk about it. That's pretty much what happened. They were talking about how to run cables, where to set stuff. You know, everything that could be, you know, done multiple ways was debated upon. So me personally, I don't like to sit there and talk about that forever. Well, guys, let's go ahead and pick whatever we're going to pick. I don't care how y'all choose, but pick it, and let's just replicate it over into every room. Since the leads aren't here to show us how they want it, which I don't know why they wasn't, because it's not like they just disappeared and built a room on their own. Like, it was crazy like that. But who am I to question their leadership because they was hired by somebody else?
Before we run out of time, I think the last thing I was going to say was we left from credit. I was going to say ownership and owning land. I think that is the next step after, like, your assets, what you own, I think is so important. Like, that you kind of skip over steps. If you own land, I don't need to fucking have a bunch of money. Put a lien on my house and I can get whatever this shit is. Oh, I can't get the car? Put a lien on my house. I got that car. And like, you can use and leverage stuff. I know we're about to run out of time, so I just want to get that last, to me, what I feel like the last level is how can you, like, for economic strength and stuff in America, I feel like owning shit changes the game. Once you have like your own business or you have your own land, systems, because now the government, our system, the capitalist society is really run off of businesses, not really just democracy. It's really our businesses that control everything. So once you have some type of land, or you have real estate, and you got a business, you're cooking with gas.
Keep striving.
You don't think so?
I think it's a good start. I definitely think it's a good start. You cook it with some type of gas, but I think it's a comparative thing compared to the general public, the lack thereof, the other people that's cooking with gas. It turn you into more like matches compared to them. But I wouldn't disagree against it. It's definitely something to strive for, something to strive to do. And as each per individual, you know, gain more financial literacy and gain more just workings into how the financial systems and how, you know, the Western culture works, I think they will alter their plan as needed, but it's definitely a good trajectory.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think ownership is key.
Yeah. I at the end of the day, I want to own stuff. But I think that's part of our problem in America right now is that.
All right, I guess we're gonna have to learn about. The problem in America on the next episode. But guys, ladies and gentlemen, I guess that's gonna be the end of this episode because that was the end of that Zoom meeting. So until next time.